What's good? What's good? Not my attitude, which is why I'm making this video. Like a childhood friend of mine that I don't really communicate with, but still follow on social media. They posted like a house for rent that they have, and it's like a 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom, I guess. And they want 2 grand a month for it, and they'll get 2 grand a month for it. But that gave me a lot of internal feelings of bitterness because I've had significant struggles with housing over the last few years. And, seeing childhood friends just making crazy amounts of money on things that other people struggle with, it just hurt. And I know it's not my business. I'm not like, I'm not in touch with them really anymore. So it shouldn't bug me, but it did. And I think that's, like envy and jealousy and greed. That's just normal human behavior and bitterness. And I think by just facing it and addressing it, I'm trying to grow. However, uh, I just want to talk about the fact that I am in the process of building a plan to buy a minivan to live in because rent prices are just so insane and the cost of living is so insane. And somewhere along the way, my white privilege card was lost in the mail. And it just really hurts to be struggling so much. And while I'm at such a low point in my life, to just be kicked even more. And I don't want to sound like a victim, and I kind of am and have been, and I'm trying not to, but I also want to be real. And I know so many Americans are struggling with similar issues that I struggle with, like the self worth that comes from working 40, 50, 60 hours a week and having nothing to show for it, or the lack of self worth that comes from it, or the issues that just come from this shitty society we live in. And while I do agree that America has done horrible things to peoples of color, and I even do agree that systemic racism has been an issue we face, I believe deeper than that, the intersection of the class struggle that ordinary Americans face is a more inclusive struggle we could be attempting to rally behind and to unify behind. But by making it about race, they're dividing us. And that's what the globalists want. They do not want a unified population. And I think I was going to title this something like Interest, Inflation, and White Privilege, or the intersection of interest, inflation, and white privilege. There may have been a time where white privilege absolutely was a thing, but that was long ago. And I'm saying there may have been a time, back when one job could support a family and, we weren't segregated, or we were segregated as a country. That was some bullshit. Like, that was less than 100 years ago. It is not lost on me that the fact that less than 100 years ago we were still a segregated society, that it will have lasting and impacting ramifications. It's not lost on me. And so while I'm bitching and moaning about losing my white privilege card in the mail somewhere, I hope it is not misunderstood that I do not also acknowledge the greater plight of people of color. And it's all by design. It's all by design. It's just governments doing whatever they can and getting away with as much as they can as long as they can. The government is the problem, you all. The government makes slavery legal. The government makes you know, women's issues illegal. The government is the problem. I wish you all understood that. The government that prints money out of thin air, and it's not even the government that prints money. If you know about our financial system, we actually borrow money from a private corporation known as the Federal Reserve at interest rates. And so then those interest rates trickle down to me where the van I'm thinking about getting, I'm like approved for a 28% APR on an auto loan of 25,000. That's insane. That is an insane interest rate. Usury, I think, is the word for that. Our entire financial system is fucked. Everything is fucked. Okay, not everything, but a lot of things, to the point where we should be rebuilding. But we can't because everybody's so focused on these race issues when there's truly much greater class issues at hand here. I have tasted victory and I have definitely experienced defeat. And I'm not giving up, even though I do bitch and moan a bit. I'm still pushing through. And I know so many Americans are as well. And so while we should not reward victim mentality, we should create space for people to express themselves and the emotions that come with experiencing adversity and obstacles, like so many of us have over the last few years. I think I'll try to wrap it up there. Uh, it's not about race, it's about class, and it's about the state. And the state picking and choosing winners and losers like they have done historically throughout the last thousands and thousands of years. The state is your enemy, not your neighbor. Thank you very much for listening. Much love.